Hi, I'm Wendy Day from Common Sense in Government here in Michigan. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the races that are really hot and heavy right now in everyone's mind. Specifically, the one out in New York and then one right here in Michigan. You know, we've seen the battle lines clearly drawn, and these battle lines are not between Democrat and Republican, but they're between we the people and the political elite. In New York, we've seen a fantastic uprising of we the people against the establishment political elite. The establishment that thinks they can put forward whatever candidates they want to, and we will blindly follow like sheep being led to the slaughter. And the people of New York and around America who are supporting Doug Hoffman have stood up and said no. And that's so exciting. And here in Michigan, we see the same thing going on in the 19th Senate District race, where Mike Knopf, who has been put forward by the Republicans, has earned $320,000. And the Republicans have rallied folks from around the state to come and campaign for Mike Knopf and give him money. The Democrat who's currently in office has only $33,000 in his coffers. And Marty Griffin and Mike Knopf have fought over many of the same endorsements. In fact, Mike Knopf is now endorsed by the SEIU, those are the thugs who beat up folks at the healthcare rallies, and the MEA. Mike Knopf also voted for a major tax increase and voted to spend more money than we really had, which led to those tax increases. So both Marty and Mike have mixed voting records on tax and spending. So what do? Well, at this point in the game, the chips are going to fall where they may. But I'm asking you this. Please, make sure that when elections roll around in 2010, that your parties, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter, put forward good candidates that will listen and represent the values of we the people. What I have seen based on voting records, because you know all politicians are nice, but if you look at their voting records don't lie. And what I've seen from the voting records is that at least here in Michigan, most of the Democrats who are elected to office are extremely radically leftist. In fact, I think most average Democrats would be shocked at just how leftist their elected officials are. People vote Democrat for many different reasons. Maybe you're in a union. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you just want to help the poor and think that Democrats will do a better job. But please, pay attention to the candidates you're electing, because just because they have a Democrat behind their name or a Republican doesn't necessarily mean they represent your values. In fact, it's kind of a crapshoot. And on the Republican side, people tend to think that Republicans are going to stand up for limited government and free enterprise and for the free market system. And again, we find again and again that that's not necessarily the case. The bottom line is this. Both parties have been in charge of America and Michigan in the last 20 years. And here we are. Government continues to grow. We all feel like we're on a runaway train that we didn't buy a ticket for and we don't know how to get off. 2010 may be that moment. But this isn't about party switching. It can't be. And it isn't about necessarily forming a third party, because third parties generally, especially in Michigan, don't get very far. What it is about is finding good, solid candidates who represent your values, who believe in hard work and keeping the money that you earn, who believe in families, and who believe that tight-knit families and close communities can take care of each other much better than the government, and that government tends to be part of the problem and not part of the solution. So we can find candidates who step forward and will take these values on as a flag and march out in front, then we can get behind those candidates, whether there's a D behind their name or an R. We have to return our government to where the Founding Fathers intended it to be. And the only people that can do that is you and I. Don't give your money to the Democrats or Republicans anymore. Give it to individual candidates that you support, especially in the primaries. Make sure those candidates not only uphold your values, but also have the fortitude and integrity to stand up against the special interests and pressure of those in Lansing and Washington. Ask them tough questions about what they've done to stand up for things they believed in, even when it's unpopular. Make sure they're the right man or woman for the job, not just that they agree with your policies, but that they can lead and stand up for what they believe in when it counts. Give your money to those candidates, especially in the primary, and give your monies to groups who will hold those candidates accountable. Because at the end of the day, no matter who gets elected, those special interests are going to be on them. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And we the people need to respond with pressure of our own. And that's where groups come in to play that can put pressure on those legislators so that even if the wrong person gets elected, they can be pressured into doing the right thing. The right thing for we the people. The right thing for you and for me and our families and the future of our country. We are on the edge of the abyss. 47% of the people in our country don't pay taxes. If that goes over 50%, we may never pull our country back from the edge, and it will never return to what it was meant to be. We can still save it. I'm optimistic there's still time to save our republic. But we all have to step up and make the hard choices and stand up for what's right. If you live in Michigan, or even if you don't, visit www.makelansinglisten.com and see what we're doing to put pressure on legislators here in Michigan so that even if the wrong people are elected, they'll do the right thing. And send money to Doug Hoffman and other candidates who pop up who are standing up for the right things in America. We can't afford to send another politician to Lansing or Washington who will do the wrong thing. It doesn't matter if they're a Democrat or Republican. The price is just too great. Our children and their children and all of the posterity that we have that will come after us are counting on us. Let us not be looked upon as the generation that did nothing, but as the greatest generation who stood up, fought back, and returned our country to the principles that so many have fought and died for on the battlefields around this world. Thank you, and make it a great day, and visit MakeLansingListen.com.